It's the Machine of Nonsense, episode 42, and we're doing the Suicide Squad Spoilercast. I got that out. Episode 42, Suicide Squad Spoilercast. I'm your host, Eric, joined as always by Kayla.
Hey, hey.
And we got Mike on the pod today.
Yes, hello.
We're doing a spoiler cast of James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Before we get to that, we like to always go around the room and see what we've been up to. Mike, what you been up to, man?
Watching, started The White Lotus on HBO Max. Digging that, watched a couple episodes of that so far. It's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like a dark comedy kind of show. It's like a Hawaiian resort, where there's just shitty people staying at it, and stuff happens, you know. Watched the first episode of What If. Just finished that before we were recording. Thought that was pretty cool. Marvel's What If, and Nintendo had a indie showcase today, and Shadow dropped a few games. Picked up Axiom Verge 2. Came out today. Played that for just a little bit, but I'm gonna dive more into that. Finished Death's Door. Enjoyed that. I think that's it.
You
Nice.
saw The Green Knight, didn't you?
Yes. Watched The Green Knight. Need to see it again. Watched it. Had to go to a pretty late showing, and got a little sweepy in the theater, and missed some bits here and there, you know. So can't wait to watch that again whenever it's up on VOD somewhere. And yeah, what have you guys been up to?
Oh, we'll be checking out What If after this pod, I think. Real excited for that. I was a little afraid of some of the early reviews, so I'm glad you dug the first episode. So
Oh, I thought it was really cool.
Awesome. We've been really digging The Ascent, right? I mean, Kayla, speak on that. We've been really
I started that as well.
Oh, nice.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I know you want to watch What If, but I just want to play The Ascent.
You guys are liking it, huh? Yeah.
I do like
Awesome.
it. I get, you know, once you start something, I want to finish it real bad, and it's like I come home from work and it's all I want to do. But of course, we're adults, and there's other things that we have to do, like watch What If.
Yeah,
Uh,
the adult
darn.
things.
It's like 30 minutes, so you can soldier through that. Well, you know, burn through it and get to The Ascent.
Right. I've enjoyed it. We did have a couple of, or I can only really think of one little glitch. Wasn't too bad because we weren't very far in it. I lost like my character, but it was like the second time we played, it was gone.
Yeah.
So we just used Eric's, and you can go and change it up and make it look like yours and stuff. So it wasn't that big of a deal. The Ascent has been fun. I enjoy that. I enjoy Couch Op so much, so much, and it's nice. It's not even split screen. It's just like one big, huge screen that we get to share. I enjoy that a lot.
Game's
What
so
do you
pretty.
think about it, Eric?
Yeah, that game is just really good to look at. I like the environments a lot. How like vertical it is. The gameplay, like the guns and the armor and stuff like that haven't really. I feel like there's not enough. I feel like we pick up the same guns a lot, the same armor a lot. We kind of found a kit that we liked kind of early on and have stuck with it. We're like, I think we're like halfway through. I think we're like 8 hours in, and it's about a 15-hour-ish like game. So, we've gotten a lot of like new powers, new like spells, kind of that you can do like two spells on the
augments.
Yeah, the augments, exactly. Yeah, on like left bumper and right bumper, and there's some cool variations there. Like we've picked up like a sentry droid you can put out. Kayla has these spider bots that you can put out there, like
Mhm.
That's fun.
exploding spiders, and yeah, there's cool. I feel like that's way more varied, those augments, than the guns kind of
Yeah.
are. At least
Yeah.
where
Cool.
we are. So
We've also run into a couple areas that are like inaccessible right now,
Mhm.
even though it says it's low level and you would think you could go to it because of that. Or also, we've been in some quests that are lower leveled than us, but are like real tough. Like
Mm.
we can't do that. We're gonna have to find some more armor because
Right.
yeah,
it's
we literally hit like a wall on a main quest. It's like a main quest that we have to beat to progress the story, and we tried it like what, half a dozen times almost, Kayla, maybe, like,
yeah, just about.
and yeah, we just can't. We're under leveled, or it says like you're supposed, like, the recommended level is like 13 or something, and I think we're like 14-ish, 15 maybe.
Mhm.
So we like feel like we should be able to, but we're just not good at video games, you know? That's something. No, it's tough. It's like a swarm, like enemies swarm you and stuff, and but yeah, we've run into a lot. It's challenging. Like, it's a game that you can't just like power through. It takes some strategy. So really digging it though. Really digging it.
I like that aim high mechanic that it has. I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a tough one for me. Aiming's been tough for me. I just got a machine
Same
gun
with
and
me. Same
I
with
just
me.
spray and pray.
I was
I just
gonna ask
spin
if
in
that,
circles.
because it's like it's like a twin stick kind of shooter. The aiming's tied to the right stick, but it's not like Helldivers or something where it's like exact. It's like tied to your stats, kind of, I guess.
Yeah, I'm
Where I
like,
hope
woof,
that'll
woof,
give
woof.
a little.
I just
Yeah, yeah. I'm spraying it. I'm reloading every 5 seconds or whatever, just dodging these little gremlin dudes. And
Do you have the punch?
I just got it.
The punch is great. I love the
Oh,
punch.
good, good. It's taking me a while. I keep hitting. It's tied to like left bumper, and I keep hitting right bumper, and then they're like
Me too.
killing me. Yeah,
I
and
changed it. You can change it.
yeah, I should. I should. There's a lot going on in that menu. There's so much, and I'm just like, what? What is all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it all gets used too. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
it's busy, but like everything matters. Like the stats all matter. It's a pretty deep RPG. There's like the 4 attributes, and then like you level those up by putting skill points in specific whatever, like abilities or whatever. So that levels up your attributes, and then those attributes like have an effect on various spells, augmentations, and stuff like that. So it's pretty deep. Like, it's deep in a lot of different ways, like, that I didn't really expect. Um, Going into it, I didn't even really know it was going to be an RPG necessarily. I thought it was like looter shooter kind of thing, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's an RPG.
right.
But yeah, that's been taking up most of our time. There hasn't been really much else that we've checked out, right, Kayla? I'm trying
We
to
watched
think.
Honey Boy.
That's right, we finally got
Ooh,
to Honey Boy. That
I
was an
like Honey Boy.
experience. Yeah, that was pretty good. Every time I wanna hate Shia, he does something
He's a
interesting.
dirtbag. He's a piece of crap, but he can act, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
He's really good in that movie.
guy's got chops. Guy's
And
got chops.
he wrote that, so it is really
Yeah,
like it's a good ass movie, like honestly, but
yeah. He's like playing his father,
right.
basically. Which don't we all want to do that? Just be our dads in a movie.
No. No.
Just so you know, I am my father in real life, so it happens.
Oh, good stuff. Well, I guess speaking of good movies, this is the Suicide Squad Spoilercast. So, not the one that came out in 2016, which we also the three of us went and saw at the
Wait, what?
drive-in.
My
Yeah,
notes are about the old one. Crap.
yeah,
No, I'm kidding.
yeah. I mean, I could ad lib. I remember most of that one.
I do not.
That's a
I
lie.
do
I don't remember
not.
anything about that.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
And for good reason, because it was awful, and this one wasn't. Before we get into the spoiler cast, I saw a post, I think it was GameStop posted this, and they asked, who is your video game Suicide Squad? So who from video game villains would you put in a 6-man Suicide Squad? They said it would be six people. So I came up with my list, and I want you guys to critique my list, who should be on, who should be off. I put Bowser, Ganon / Ganondorf, Handsome Jack, Albert Wesker, Ocelot, and Sarah Kerrigan from StarCraft.
Ooh, okay. I like the Ocelot pick because he gets pretty messed up in some of those Metal Gear games. I wasn't thinking villains for some reason when I was trying to think. I was thinking of just like kind of B tier, like sidekicky type stuff. I was thinking like immediately like Kirby, like Kirby is the King Shark or Groot type character that would just be,
I mean, Kirby's
doesn't
the destroyer of worlds. He's not a good guy.
Villain, the ultimate villain.
He's a good guy. He's kind of like he's supposed to be a bad guy. Like he's supposed I think he gets sent to planets or something to like harvest it, destroy it basically. But Kirby's just, ball of puff, lovable thing, but that can inhale anything, similar to King Shark, I thought. So
I like that. I like the who's your King Shark of video games? I like that. That's where it went to. Yeah, okay. So then that's the canon video game Suicide Squad. You guys have nothing to bring to the
I have
table.
such a hard time even thinking about any of them right now. Like Bowser.
I was thinking of disposable kind of people, and some of
Mm.
those people you mentioned, like man, like Bowser and Ganon, they're not going down. They're not like I don't know.
I
They're
feel
big
like
bads.
I thought that too, but then also like they lose every time. Like those are the dudes who like
You're
and
right.
like Ocelot ultimately loses, Handsome Jack. And I guess that's any villain, like just villains and like they just always lose, the
right.
good guy always
Sure.
wins. So I guess I could say that about anyone, but I was also a little afraid to put like Bowser, like Bowser's iconic, he's not a B tier or anything like that. So yeah, maybe he doesn't.
Yeah, I was
fit.
thinking more like a Luigi. I could see his scared ass out there with his, poltergust, backpack or whatever.
I almost put Wario. I feel like Wario was probably like Suicide Squad material, right?
Oh, him and Waluigi, yeah, would be
Yeah.
out there with tennis rackets or something.
We'll workshop
Tiny.
it.
Yeah.
We'll workshop it. Let's get to the spoiler cast for Suicide Squad. So if you're listening and you haven't seen the movie yet, go ahead and check it out. It's in theaters and it's on HBO Max. I would say, I think we all enjoyed it and would recommend you doing a HBO Max trial or something to go check it out. And it's not doing all that great in theaters right now. 72 million opening weekend on a budget of like 250, something like that. They spent a lot of money on the movie, and you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Overall, what did you guys think going into it? I think we were all pretty hyped, and then did it pay it off?
I really enjoy. I was hyped going in. James Gunn was enough for me. They were bringing in the parts that worked from that first movie. Viola Davis and Margot Robbie, and Flag too. He was fine. Joel Kinnaman, I believe is his name. And I I think it's just not doing well because people got burned by that first movie, man. Like that movie did gangbusters. I don't know why, but a lot of people saw it and they probably walked out like we did when we saw it. And just like, what was that? That was a train wreck. And
$746 million worldwide.
that's too much
Suicide Squad
money.
made.
That's
Yeah.
too much for that movie.
Wow.
And they did that to, Batman v Superman made a ton of money too. I think people just got tired of these bad DC
Got
movies.
burned.
Yeah, and just the way they kind of it has the same name basically. It has the in it instead. They did a poor job marketing the Birds of Prey movie too. Probably should have just been called Harley Quinn or something instead. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. What did you guys think?
I also really enjoyed it. I can barely remember anything about Suicide Squad. So I know that I didn't like it. And like you said, they did bring over like the few parts that did work. I mean, Margot Robbie, that is Harley Quinn right now. She's killing it. It's great.
Yeah,
It's fun to watch her be Harley Quinn. I have no interest in Harley Quinn like usually. It's one of the like sorry to say it, it's a played out costume at C2E2 all the time. It's unfortunate, and especially because it's like such a sexualized thing, and it's like a bunch of young kids there doing it, and it just has a bad taste in my mouth. But I do really really enjoy her rendition, her being Harley Quinn. It's a lot of fun. It's joyful, and also psychotic. The opening scene was real fun. I enjoyed that a lot. It's rated R and it's gruesome. It's lots of
yeah,
blood splattering at you a lot of times. Um, why it's not doing so well because it's getting great reviews. Like anytime you look online, it's got nines, 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 nines. So it came to HBO Max. I mean, that's how we watched it. So
yeah. Same.
it's hard to I don't really understand how that works.
I think it's doing very well on HBO Max. I think they came out and said it's the second best opening like premiere for HBO Max. So it's at least doing well there. But there's the question of like how does that work? Like is that does the movie get any of that, or like what happens? Because yeah, who knows? But they did say it's doing very well on HBO Max. You mentioned the opening scene, Kayla. I I remember, like, I don't know if I looked at you or whatever, but we were next to each other, and I was like, "Yep, all right, I'm in now." Like it was because it kind of started off a little slow. You see Michael Rooker's character Savant, and they're kind of like setting him up as like, "Oh, this guy might be like the next leader of the group or something." You don't really know what his backstory is. He just kind of looks like a badass, like he's
He's
um
angry.
yeah, he's just an angry guy, and they're running him through, and it's kind of your like setup for if you don't know anything about the Suicide Squad or what they are, they're kind of telling you right there, like, oh, these are bad dudes in prison with like superpowers or whatever, and or at least like abilities, and we're gonna send you out on a covert mission, like they kind of set that all up, and then you get to see the covert mission. They kind of do like a Bay of Pigs kind of situation where they all get onto the beach, and they're gonna unleash their powers against the opposing forces, and they get just like ruthlessly slaughtered in front, and most of them have like really stupid powers too. Like,
Did you
oh,
guys did you seeing that initial team and having seen trailers and stuff? Were you guys like, wait a minute, none of these guys were in the marketing. This whole team is getting fucking something bad's gonna happen to this Suicide Squad.
oh, I didn't. Because I
Oh,
did
okay.
see at
Weasel.
least. Well, yeah, I saw like the Weasel in the promotion stuff, and definitely in some of the trailers, like what's his name, David
Pete
Pete
Davidson.
Davidson, right? The guy from SNL. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, he was in like some promotional material, some trailers and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, like he's a dude, whatever. Like some of them, yeah, sure. Like I was like, oh, that's a new one on me. But like several of them, I was like, okay, yeah, I remember seeing those people from the trailer. So it got me. Like they got me. I did not see, Pete Davidson's face exploding
Right.
or any of that. Like that was a lot of fun. I don't know, that it hooked me right from there.
Yeah, just seeing their silly powers when TDK, the detachable kid, like
Oh, I forgot about him.
launches his arms. Played by Nathan Fillion, by the way. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And man, just some funny, silly stuff. But yeah, they get on this beach and they just get sold out by Pete Davidson character, and they just get obliterated. And it was a lot of fun just seeing these. The weasel dies right away.
Jay, see if the weasel can swim.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they dropped the weasel into the water and he just fucking drowns. Oh my god.
Oh, but we think he dies. That's right. He had
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Oh my god. That was probably the moment, actually, now that I think about it, is I looked over at Kayla and I was like, I'm seeing this weasel just fucking drown. And they're like, all right,
Eric
they got me.
laughed out loud a lot.
Yeah. It's the funniest movie I've seen in a long time, honestly. Like it was good. There were some slow moments or whatever, but there were some laugh out loud moments for me, without a doubt.
Definitely some peaks and valleys with the jokes, but yeah, overall very funny. Very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they kept doing these like cutaways where I think it was like chapters essentially. You would see like chapter titles and in like James Gunn fun psychedelic style, you would get like leaves, creating letters, titles, and then they'd blow
8
away.
hours earlier.
Yeah,
I enjoyed those. They were cute.
Yeah, I like that part. It's nice to see James Gunn being able to do, hard R and not have like those Disney chains kind of tying him down.
Right.
In one aspect.
I enjoy James Gunn. I mean, Guardians is some of my favorite stuff out there, and letting this like just go off the handles was pretty fun.
I need more R-rated movies, just out there, especially R-rated superhero movies. They're few and far between, and yeah, it's the way to go, I think. So we're then introduced to the real team, the actual team led by Idris Elba, Bloodsport, as well as Peacemaker, who is played by John Cena. And we get to see very early on they're going to have like a rivalry throughout the whole. They have the exact same backstory.
Yeah.
And like the same powers. They're both just like dudes who are really good at shooting people. And that rivalry leads us to very like basically the opening of, or not the opening, but the first action scene in Predator, the first Predator movie, where like the good guys, the commandos are taking down like all of the insurgents or whatever, the terrorists, or so we
They're
think.
going to rescue Flag.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Flag was leading the first team, got captured and everything else. They're gonna go rescue him, and you get to see this fun little like, it's not a montage, but it's basically just like Bloodsport versus Peacemaker, kind of competing for kills in this camp with these people you think are terrorists. They're killing them in these like super gruesome ways.
Yeah.
And it's so fun because they're just like, fuck, he killed him that way, and like there's
got a good back and forth.
Oh my god, it's so good. And then we get to see they get to the main tent or whatever, and Flag's there palling around, and we find out that like these are freedom fighters for the country. What did you see that, Nelson, coming? Like,
I did, because like you see people like just doing laundry. Like there's a lady just scrubbing some laundry. Dude's just kind of waking up with a with a morning wood. And you see a lot of wiener in here,
A lot of
Kayla.
wiener.
I,
Yep.
I thought you'd enjoy that. And I'm like, these people aren't even really like fighting back or ready for any of this. Like this would have been heavily guarded, like kind of thing. And then it turns out they just like murdered half of the revolutionaries that are basically on their side. And that was really good. It's a really good bit.
Oh, man.
It was good. It was funny.
Yeah, and it's
I
so
love how
and
they
then
like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, just yeah, these are the freedom fighters. And he's like, oh, well, we thought
Sorry.
you were
Yeah.
captive, right?
it's just an example of like this movie does not take itself seriously at all. You know, like if this was any other like that would be played up so tragically and everything else in any other like any Marvel movie or something if there was collateral damage or like someone made a mistake like that. But this movie's just meant to be like fun. That's just
I
played
think
up
you
for
forgot
like
about New York collateral damage.
right, right. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like that is like tragic and is like a whole plot line for like multiple Marvel movies, but the Suicide Squad just murdering all these freedom fighters is just played up for laughs, and it's it's so
Yeah,
fun.
I think the tone of this one, if you're able to buy into it right away, it really helps, because that first Suicide Squad just tries to take itself way too serious and dark, and this is the complete opposite. And Gunn really just brought Guardians energy to this thing. John Cena's basically Drax. King Shark is Groot. There's a lot of parallels there with the team, and I think it worked. I think it worked a lot.
Did you guys have like a favorite character? You mentioned King Shark, and I think King Shark stole the show for me, played by Sylvester Stallone. I didn't know
Yeah, yeah,
going in, and I had to ask Kayla. I was like, "That's Sylvester Stallone, huh?"
yeah. Oh, good ear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was like one scene where he said something. I was like, "That's like Stallone." Like weird.
Yeah, and he was in Guardians too, so we had kind of that James Gunn connection a little bit there. So,
Nice. I
Yeah.
didn't think about that. Yeah, you're right.
but Polka Dot Man for me was the best, the standout character for me. Played by, I'm gonna butcher this, but David Dashmalchian, I think
Mm-hmm.
is his
Yeah, yeah.
name, sort of.
That's what his mother calls him. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, yeah, and he's just like this. Uh, in the opening setup, like when they're still locked, they're still at the prison and they're forming the team. He's like got this power dampener collar on, and you're like, man, this dude must be like serious business, and everyone's talking shit to him, like coming out. No one gives this guy respect, and he starts developing these like polka dot fucking lesions or something on his. They're like just taking over his whole body at one point, and he has to man, like do this weird in dimensional bracelets that he has on, and he has to like feed the polka dots to these like gauntlets that he has, and he can just shoot polka dots at people. Like they just rip people to shreds. And you're like, yeah, that's okay. That's what I thought. This dude was serious. All right, it's awesome. Who was your favorite, Caleb?
Just go with Harley because it's. I'm going Harley because I never really liked Harley until this, so I got to give her credit for
Oh,
that.
cool, cool, solid. Yeah, I think just coming off of Birds of Prey.
And that I haven't seen, so
Oh, you didn't?
I
Oh
didn't
man.
see it. You guys went and seen it. I don't know what I was
Ah,
doing.
man, a Skull Island type thing. Okay, darn. Sorry. Uh, watch Birds of Prey. It's pretty.
I want
Yeah.
to. I want to.
They picked a great like if they're gonna continue highlighting Harley Quinn or like whatever they're gonna do with that, I'm sure they want to. Like it seems
I
like it.
I think Margot Robbie's come out and said like she needs to take a break.
I saw that recently.
Oh,
Like
that
just
stinks.
yesterday or today. Which
Yeah.
I'm also fine with. I don't dig it in my face too much. I'm not I can take a break as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, she's got to do what works for her. But they just picked such a like. It's great casting. She does the voice so well. Like she's got that she in all her different roles. Like she does accents so well. I mean, she's got an accent, but then she just like can fall into like any accent she wants in any of her roles.
She's Australian, right?
Yeah.
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 Man, foreign people can just sound like anybody, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's pretty remarkable, and so I hope they continue with her even as like a side character or whatever. She's a lot of fun. Harley's cool. Harley's not cool. Margot Robbie's cool. Her Harley's cool in
Yeah,
my
yeah.
yeah.
I think Harley's cool. I like Harley.
I think she's been portrayed pretty cool in different things. I think I'm along the lines with Kayla. Like she's so played out as a Halloween costume that it's like, or like a cosplay at C2E2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fatigued, you know.
I can honestly say I don't really know too much. Like I've not ever really watched anything with her in it besides.
She was created for the Batman animated series, and I liked her in that. She's just, Joker's kind of sidekick in that. And I like what they've done with her breaking away from the Joker and just creating her own thing. I think they've piloted that pretty well.
You think I mentioned like the psychedelic like cutaways and stuff that they did. They did a lot of weird psychedelic stuff anytime like Harley was on screen, or at least when she got to do like there's several main parts where she gets to kind of really cook. There's a prison escape, and then kind of the climax of the final battle. And they did some weird shit with like flowers and some weird
That
stuff.
was really cool. Like that is how Harley sees the world. She's insane.
Right.
And when she's going on this murder spree, like she doesn't see blood spew out of these people. She just sees like just a ton of flowers and sunshine and birds flying everywhere. That's why she just has this happy, upbeat, psycho energy going on all the time. I really dug that part.
Yeah, me too. It was beautiful as well. Like such a fresh breath. Like every time that you thought, oh, it's getting serious, she's like being tortured, then it just got fucking wild.
Yeah, the team is planning a way to break her out, and she does it. She pulls it off by herself, and she has to do like this really acrobatic. She gets to like grab a key with her foot and do this like acrobatic thing to unlock her shackles. And Margot Robbie actually did that. Did you guys hear about that? She did it like first take.
Oh, I didn't know it was first take. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, she just blew everyone's mind. Like she just grabbed this key with her toes, flipped her legs all the way over her head basically and unlocked this lock. Like boom, like wow.
I mean,
talent.
she's like insanely athletic, so like I'm not like that surprised, but also just like the dexterity that requires is nuts.
Yeah.
That's something you probably like practice a bunch, in your free time. So
pretty good at picking up like rags or socks or towels with my toes. So
yeah, but then like imagine having to put that rag like in a drawer, a very small drawer.
Oh, I think it's super impressive.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You're gonna come home one day and it's gonna be me practicing that and shit.
Yeah.
It's not just for girls. I can do this too.
What are you guys doing in that new basement?
Toe stuff.
Toe stuff. Lots of toe stuff. What did you guys think of? There's basically three. I don't know. I guess there's like four main villains. So there's the weird. Like he's in it for like 5 minutes. They did a weird thing in the middle where they build up this like dictator of this island nation that the Suicide Squad have to, like, infiltrate and everything else. Um and then Harley just, like, kills him. They
Yeah.
they have, like, a romance for, like, 5 minutes, and then she just murders him. That was, for me, those scenes, like, in that middle, were kind of the softest of the movie. I feel like that could have been lobbed off. There's just kinda nothing that wasn't needed, because you already had, like, so the other main villains, you have Amanda Waller, the leader, or the director of the Suicide Squad, the Task Force X, who is, like, forcing them to do this. She's very villainous.
Ruthless.
Yeah, super ruthless, and she was that way in the first movie. You have
Mm-hmm.
the Thinker, played by Peter Capaldi, right, of
Pete
Doctor
Capaldi,
Who
yeah,
fame.
former Doctor Who, yeah.
Yeah, so he's a super villain, super smart villain. And then you have Starro the Conqueror, the giant starfish from space. We'll get into. I felt like the subplot with, like, the dictator and all of that was a little soft for me. I didn't get why that was in there. You already had, like, I don't know, you had a super villain, or a super, like, a Dr. Evil on an island, experimenting on a star from space. Like, did you
with
need
the people.
also a dictator? Like, I don't know. It was a little weird for me.
I was in on up until after the bar scene. Really is where it kind of, like, man, this script got a little weak. Like, I don't know, they could have put this one in the oven for a little bit and worked this a little more. Just the bits, the line stuff, that like Milton joke that they try to pull, like, just didn't work for me. Later, there's, like, a guy that tags along with them who doesn't have any powers or anything. He's just along. He's like their driver, at
And
this
the
island.
Freedom Fighters, he's
Yeah.
her contact.
And he gets killed, and, like, oh no, we lost Milton. Who's Milton? There was a guy with us the whole time, and they just drag it on too long, and that's when it fell off for me just a little bit.
See, that didn't bother me. The dictator stuff didn't bother me because I feel like that works well into the story. I didn't need Bloodsport's daughter, though. Like, I didn't really get that. He's like, I am no good. I hate you. Yell at you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. And then, oh, she's gonna go to prison? Oh, I better fucking do this. Like, what? What? You don't.
Yeah, Bloodsport's trying to pull, like, there's no good left in me at all. My dad beat that out of me my whole life, and then there's still, he, what was Ratcatcher was her
Yeah.
name? Another cool
Ratcatcher
character in this.
2.
Ratcatcher 2, yes, the sequel.
Right.
Her father, played by Taika Waititi, by the way.
Patron saint of this pod.
Freaked out
Favorite
when I
cameo.
saw that. And
In all things.
he's trying to be like a father figure for her too, and protect her during this mission. Like, you're gonna make it out of this alive, I promise you. And I don't know. I thought that stuff. I thought what this original one had no heart whatsoever, and you didn't really feel like you didn't care about this team. And James Gunn, he can do it, man. He did it with Guardians. He made you care about this, team of 5 people or creatures in space that no one heard about. No one knew what Rocket Raccoon was, or Groot, or Peter Quill, or anything. And made you fall in love with them. And he pulled it off here too. That bar scene's my favorite part, I think, when they're just letting loose and they don't know if they're gonna make it out of here or not, and they're just trying to have a good time and party at this place. And I liked I thought that stuff was good. And
Yeah.
that dictator part, they had to have Harley have a kick-ass action scene, and we got that out of it. It was pretty cool. She breaks more limbs, a lot of limb breaking from Harley. She loves to do that. A lot of that in Birds of Prey. And yeah, the Starro stuff was, I don't know, just ridiculous. That was just this kaiju sized starfish. Uh, uh, that kind of how did you guys feel about that when it like opens its side? It's a
Oof.
very vaginal looking kind of
Oof.
thing and emits tons of tiny parasitic starfish that latch onto people's faces and they become like a hive mind thing. That was like, okay, James Gunn, you could have toned this down a little.
I might be the first person to ever say this, but James Gunn might not have a good relationship with sex. I don't know, like it seems like he
Yeah,
might
what
have.
he has another kind of vagina monster movie, right? That Slither movie or whatever, isn't that
Gosh,
sort of?
was that him too? Oh
Yeah,
yeah. He's a guy.
yeah. He's a regular
I
bro
like
guy. Yeah.
I like most of the stuff he does, and I get you want to keep people on their toes with like I would have never guessed like a weird, colorful giant starfish eyeball monster. Like didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I thought it was. I like Starro a lot. I don't know where you go. Like, I don't, because in my opinion, like the dictator stuff was kind of, I don't know, I wasn't into it. But then they're early on, they're kind of really like there's a lot of foreshadowing of like, oh yeah, the thinker is working on something. And they show midway through, I think, the movie, you kind of like are getting the sense that, oh yeah, there's something. Even in like the promotional stuff, I think one of the trailers kind of made it known that there's some kind of giant monster in this. And I think I was seeing memes fairly early on that people had like guessed it or whatever from like the promotional material that, oh yeah, it's this giant starfish or something. I was seeing a lot of like
Yeah.
Patrick Star from SpongeBob memes and stuff like that.
The butthole joke thing from Peacemaker was in previews or commercials or whatever.
Right. So yeah, I thought Starro was cool. Kind of like a cool. There wasn't enough maybe screen time to really get you afraid or anything of Starro because his powers are kind of cool. Like he's got mind control powers. He shoots out a bunch of smaller starfish out of his vagina. Like there's just there's a lot of cool stuff going on. He's fucking 100 feet tall. I'm not good with measurements. Is 100 feet a lot of feet? He's a lot of feet tall, or meters for our. I know we get a lot of foreign people listening to this, so many meters tall. Is 100 meters really tall?
Very tall, I think. Very
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So he's like at least 100 meters, at least.
I thought the setup was really cool. Like when they capture the thinker, and there's he's taking him into the base or whatever where where Starro is being kept, and there's all these people in cages with these starfish, and they're all speaking to him through Starro, and it's a really creepy kind of vibe.
Yeah.
He's been testing this monster for 30 years, and they have like a rapport like with each other. And it was interesting. I could have used more of that kind of stuff.
Did they have
Yeah.
a rapport, or did the thinker just?
It's not a good rapport, but they
Yeah.
have a relationship where they communicate with each other.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, the Starro stuff, as like ridiculous as it is, this gigantic, starfish. There's a couple lines, like you said, like with them talking and like the brain controlled kind of zombies that it creates and everything, and the fact that it's been experimented on for like 50 years or whatever. And then when it like dies at the end, it says this line, and I didn't write it down, but it's like, I was content to just stare up into the sky and watch the stars or something. It's like this
Yeah, he
super
just wanted to
poignant.
keep floating through space, like which like the real reason that the Suicide Squad were sent was not to eliminate Starro or try to capture him, was to find the files that prove America's involvement in this fucking creature. John Cena has these ulterior motives, and when we find out that America was behind it too, he just starts killing. He just turns on everybody and uh, fucking kills Flag. They have this knockout, drag out fight. Really, really brutal stuff going on. Almost kills Ratcatcher the second. And then we get the payoff early on. There's when Bloodsport and he are squabbling. He's like, "Well, I would, I'm a better shot than you. How? I hit the bullseye every time. My bullseye would go through your bullseye. Smaller bullets, would go through your bullets." And that's how Bloodsport takes him down. He shoots a bullet that pierces through his bullet and gets him in the neck, I think, which was a good payoff. What did you guys think of the John Cena turn? You guys mad at him?
He believed it. I didn't really feel it as a turn.
Surprised. Yeah, I didn't see it going down that way, I guess. I didn't know that he was such a I didn't think any of them were like a kind of a shill for Waller. Like it seemed like they were like, I think their whole thing is the Suicide Squad is they're against their will. They're just doing it to get like years off of their sentence or whatever. So I bought that they were all there for like the same reason, but apparently he was not. Like he was the only one who was really in on it.
He had an extra mission.
Yeah.
I mean, good on Viola Davis. That's smart planning. Like they're gonna find out that America has involvement of it, and they're gonna wanna share it and tell people, boo-hoo. So don't let that happen. Like that's just smart.
Yeah, there's a moment where Waller is just being too ruthless, too Wallery, and one of her like little lackeys just takes a fucking driver club to her fucking dome. Did you guys? And she doesn't die. I thought like, fuck, they just killed Viola Davis. Did you guys think?
Yeah, kind
of. She died.
I mean, I think if I hit somebody as hard as I can with a golf club to the temple, I think they're gonna fucking. She just like has an ice pack on her head afterwards. And she's just really mad at her team afterwards. I thought they were dead because I'm like, man, okay, how many of the squad's gonna die? Okay, we lose Flag. Polka Dot Man goes out. Starro squashes him. Like, okay, but Waller died too. So that kind of evens the score a little bit. But no, she didn't. She's still around.
Yeah, and that brings me kind of to, I wanted to discuss kind of the ending, the post-credit scenes, and kind of where this leads to, in a sense. And I think Waller's a good jumping off point because I was kind of with you on that. Like, yeah, she gets fucking domed by, one of them. And I did think like, okay, she's dead, or at very least, like they are gonna kill her, or they're going to like she's going to die, because like I don't see where she's this super black ops director of this program or whatever else, like, and now her subordinates have just like knocked her out and captured her and taken her off of the mission and everything else. And she's alive. Like, yeah, you said they just like show her with an ice pack or whatever else. Like, how do they? Isn't she just gonna murder all those people? Like, is it like they know way too much? Like how does that go? Like, the only option is to kill her, right? Like, there's not another option.
Well, she makes them do more shitty work.
Yeah. So okay. So I guess that leads us to one of the post-credit scenes is a pretty good fake out. There's a couple good fake outs. At least they faked me out several in this, like, throughout this, and including this scene. We get to see some of those lackeys, some of Waller's subordinates go to like a hospital, and they're having a conversation like, "Oh, I can't believe he survived." Like something, and they say something about his heart. His heart stopped, or they kept his heart going, or
Mm.
something like that. They mention heart specifically. So my mind immediately went to, oh shit, yeah, Flag didn't die, because we see in brutal fashion him stabbed in the heart. They literally like take an internal picture of like a piece of
Yeah.
glass or whatever going into his heart.
They do like a Mortal Kombat X-ray attack. Like you see his heart just getting pierced by this piece of glass or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, "Oh, okay. Oh, it's Flag who's gonna be in this, this hospital." He survived. But no, it's Peacemaker. It's John Cena, and apparently he's still on the team, and they need him for some kind of like. Apparently, they're all still on the team. Like her Waller's team of lackeys are still
Yeah.
doing work for her, I guess.
Idris Elba works out a deal with her at the end to, like, everyone's freed, right? Like he gives her the hard drive with the information, and they get their way out. I was wondering if it's going to be like a Suicide Squad versus Suicide Squad. Like he's going to have
Okay.
to like
I don't
take
think
them out or something.
I don't think he gives her the hard drive, right? Because that's how he says, like, now if anybody like messes with us, this shit goes out.
Right, but then at the end, and I think he does, like, here, you could, take this, but we're done. Like we're all, our slates are clean. Am I wrong about that?
I think it's like a Mexican standoff kind of situation where like at any moment he could upload it. So they're on even ground. Like we're all free.
Oh, he's keeping it in his back pocket. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. But
Gotcha.
I think you're right. That kind of could set up like a Peacemaker plus other B tier DC.
The Weasel.
Yeah, Peacemaker and the Weasel against Bloodsport and Ratcatcher, so that's kind of what I wanted to say. Do we see, unfortunately it's not making a lot of money. It was on a big budget. Do we see this continuing? You guys mentioned that Margot Robbie said she's kind of like maybe done with Harley Quinn for a time.
Yeah.
What do we think about Suicide Squad 2 or 3 or whatever it would be?
Right. The
James Gunn doing
Suicide
it?
I'm sure he would if someone gave him money and like control. I think James Gunn is just like, hey, give me money and the ability to make the thing that I want to make, and he's gonna do it, I think.
This seemed to be a huge passion project for him. I don't think that would be tough to get him back on board.
Well, he was kind of like, I feel like he said he doesn't want to make any more superhero movies.
Oh,
I mean, he's definitely got one more in the books with
Right,
Guardians
like
3.
I think he's done after that as well.
Yeah, Idris Elba's tied up in the Sonic universe now. So
yeah.
I don't know if they'll be able to get the band back together. Maybe it is just going to be a John Cena led solo type thing, or maybe a show.
Yeah, because I don't know. I dug it. Like I would take another one of these. If smaller budget or a show or whatever. And it felt like they were, certain people from the Suicide Squad survived. Like Idris Elba could have died, but they kind of gave him a backstory and a reason for you to care about him. Same thing with Ratcatcher. They're now have a relationship and stuff, and Harley Quinn's Harley Quinn, and Waller's still alive. I thought John Cena was pretty good. Like I think he's
good
growing
at doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, so
He's good at that deadpan thing, just like a straight man. He has some of the best lines. Unfortunately, it does one of those trailer things, like where they use the best lines in the trailer. But when if this whole beach was covered in dicks, I would get rid of, for liberty, I would do whatever it takes.
Dicks.
It is so unfortunate that like, because it still hit pretty well, but it hit at like 75% seeing it, you know, after seeing
Yeah.
it at the trailer.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because that was that's wonderful writing. That's so good. Oh man.
He's the peacemaker.
Did you guys have what was your guys' favorite part?
I think, man, probably the revelation of like that Bloodsport and Peacemaker were killing all the freedom fighters. Like that was
Oh, okay.
I just
Yeah.
like wow, okay. Cuz I think I like started to like I think you hear Flag like through the tent or something, and then you see him, and I think I started like hearing him and being like, oh my god, wow, these are the good guys. They just killed all the good guys. That was good. I enjoyed that quite a bit.
I think I
Yeah.
liked the opening number the best. Like
Mm,
not so much the prison part where they're like setting it all up, but when they're in the military airplane, whatever those are called, and they're like all
right, they're
strapped
doing
up
the
and they
drop.
have their
Yeah.
whole thing. I did know it was Nathan Fillion. I was like, wait a minute, who is that? And then they showed him again, and me and Eric both came to Nathan Fillion pretty much right away. Um, and then once they do the whole water scene with the weasel and like the whole battle, and I just thought the whatever the white haired guy's name was, um,
Savant. Yeah.
Savant, who like he's like fuck this, I'm out, and he swims away, and you actually do see her press the button to explode the chip in his head, and that's when in the water I think is when it says the Suicide Squad, uh,
Mhm.
and it was real good. I liked the
When they
beginning a lot.
when they show their corpses like the morning after, and it's just like, oh man, it's so gross. It's so nasty. Man, I love, like I said, Polka Dot Man is my favorite part of the movie. I love how, there's a part where where I think Harley says like, "Ah, we're all gonna die," and he just goes, "Oh, I hope so." And you're like, man, was this guy such a Debbie Downer about everything? And you find out more about his backstory, and that he literally, his mother has tortured them at like Star Labs or whatever, which was a cool like DC shout out thing. And he forced all of his siblings to she wanted them to be superheroes, and he kept being tested on his kids and had a terrible life, and he sees everyone as his mother, the one person that he hates the most, and you see the terrible like life that this dude has to live. I thought it was really well done, and he's just letting himself loose at the club later, and he's dancing, and everyone around him is just his mother. It's so good.
Yeah.
But I love the moment, like, the moment where they're like trying to break into the stronghold, and King Shark just fucking rips this dude in half, and there's lightning in the background, and it's like, man, put that on the side of a van. And that was like I've ever seen. I thought it was really neat.
That's your dragon,
Right,
your
yeah.
your
Wizard with
unicorn or
whatever.
Airbrush.
horse
Yeah.
Oh
they put on there.
Yeah, put that. It's a blacklight poster waiting to happen.
Oh, good stuff. So I think if you haven't figured it out yet, we all really enjoyed the Suicide Squad. I think it's for everyone except kids. No kids. Don't let your
Yeah,
kids watch
definitely not.
this. But I think if you don't care about superheroes, I think it's still a lot of fun. If you don't care about DC, Marvel, any of that, it's still a lot of fun as long as you like, like R-rated kind of hyper violent funny stuff. I think it's got something for a lot of people on that.
I agree 100%.
Absolutely, 100%.
Nice. Nice. All right, so that's our spoiler cast for the Suicide Squad. Before we get out of here, I want to mention we recently completed half of round 2 of the bracket of nonsense. We more or less completed it, but we need a little bit of help from you. We had 2 ties. We had a tie between Ben Wyatt and Phil Dunphy, and we also had a tie between Alucard and Big Boss. So, we will be posting a poll. By the time you hear this, the poll will be up. But if you have not seen it yet, it will be on our Facebook group, Monstars. Go there, vote in the poll. I guess it will be 2 polls. There'll be one for Ben Wyatt versus Phil Dunphy, and there will be one for Alucard versus Big Boss.
Just dropped those right now.
All right, look at that, in real time. You're not going to hear this in real time, but I am going to post this a little early, so you should get this on Thursday the 12th. So you'll have some time. We are going to have that poll open from Wednesday the 11th until we record the next episode of the Bracket of Nonsense on Saturday. Someone give me that date. The 14th? 15th?
14th?
14th. It's the 14th.
Yeah.
There we go.
14th.
Not good at measurements, not good at dates, folks.
Not good at dates.
What we need is the calendar man who was in this played a short cameo in this movie.
How many meters in a calendar, you know?
Ooh, no one knows.
No one knows. Oh boy. So this was episode 42 of the Machine of Nonsense. We did the Suicide Squad Spoilercast. We really enjoyed the movie. As always, we ask you to subscribe, rate, review the podcast. If you're not into podcasts, that's okay. Join our fan group, Monstars, on Facebook. We have a lot of fun there. There's going to be a fun poll on the Bracket of Nonsense. Please vote in that poll. And
please,
if you're into social media, we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Go ahead and check us out. Have some fun. Drop us a line. If you want to be on this pod, you can leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/machine of nonsense. We'd love to hear your voice, and I will put it on this pod.
Yeah, let us know how you think about the movie, for sure.
Yes, indeed. We loved it. We hope you did too. Maybe you hated it. Let us know. I'm your host, Eric. I was joined by Kayla and Mike for this Suicide Squad Spoilercast. We're getting out of here and saying goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.